this is Peter Propp, and the timer just started.
Hi, this is John Blossom, and welcome to another edition of 10-Minute Strategy. Welcome to 2011, everybody.
Absolutely. John, today is our first annual predictions show, and we're going to take a look through some of the trends in technology and mobile and social, and see what we're thinking about, and then who knows? At the end of the year, we'll see how right we were. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Peter. And we have some of our stuff already out on Content Blogger, but we thought we'd highlight a few things here today.
Excellent.
First thing I thought I'd talk about is the balance of power. 2011, everybody seemed to be looking for the killer company, the one that was going to conquer all the web. And what I think we'll finally see in 2011 is people who thought that they were going to conquer everything take a piece of it. We have Google, Apple, Microsoft that are big technology mixes in content, and each one of them had their own dreams and desires to conquer everything, but they're all going to run up against one another's strengths. Google is going to be launching its new social media initiative, and they hope that that's going to work well, and it kind of has to work well because their search is beginning to take a lot of hits from Microsoft. Bing is doing really well, especially with the Facebook alliance. It seems to be helping them to extract entities a lot more accurately these days. So we're seeing a lot more satisfaction with Microsoft in terms of Bing. We're seeing the Microsoft phones, which got off to a poor start in 2010, beginning to make a little bit of a comeback, and the alliance with Facebook in general beginning to strengthen them.
Right.
And then we have Apple, which is kind of an in-between sort of situation for 2011. They had some amazing hits in 2010 with the iPad, the iPhone 4, and many other introductions that got everybody's attention and love. Now comes 2011, and they're challenged a lot more by Google on the Android side, that's for sure, which now owns, in theory, the majority of smartphone in the US markets. And many other players beginning to take them on in tablets and what have you. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Apple unfolds in this. I think at the end of 2011 we're going to still see three very strong players, Facebook continuing to align with Microsoft more strongly.
Right. Yeah, and Facebook as a search entity really has come on strong as well.
Yes,
sure that's
yes, with help from Bing.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So my prediction area is around the iPhone itself. You know, the iPhone 4 is great. The upgraded operating system for the 3GS users is terrific. The next version of the iPhone that's coming out is the Verizon iPhone, and so the big prediction is there's going to be a lot of grumpiness for those people that want to use the iPhone on Verizon. So the first iPhone that's going to come out is a CDMA phone. So it's using a technology that many think is inferior to the GSM technology that is currently being provided by AT&T. Network quality notwithstanding, CDMA doesn't work in Europe, and for most Verizon phones does not allow you to leverage data at the same time you're making a call. We don't know yet whether Apple is going to be, whether the iPhone on Verizon in its first version is going to allow for web browsing or email while you make a call. So that was one issue. Secondly, I think that there's going to be a lot of overall disappointment for those who put down the money to get this new iPhone. I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment just in terms of how fabulous it is. It is going to be a sort of a compromise solution. Now, I could be wrong on this, but we're sticking our necks out with predictions.
And you're saying this is somebody who's really a strong fan of Apple products.
Absolutely. I mean, the iPhone does so much in terms of a great experience, in terms of really helping you to make sure you don't mess up your phone and yet get a lot of functionality out of it. They do an amazing job with that. I just think there is no way in the world that an iPhone on Verizon is going to be as great as the Verizon, lovers would have us think. The next thing that's going to happen is this LTE phone is going to come out probably around the July-August time frame, after the next big Apple Developers Conference. And LTE is the next standard of telephony, mobile telephony. It is supported in Europe. GSM and CDMA sort of both go up into this LTE,
Right.
you know.
Nominally, it's a CDMA technology, but it's beyond it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that could be a much better product, but I think it's that the issue there is going to be the charges, and people think the LTE plans from Verizon that people have seen are extremely expensive. So how they can justify at Verizon charging a lot of money for what essentially is the experience you're currently getting with AT&T. It's going to be interesting to see how all that stuff sort of fits together. So the predictions are, let's wait for some pretty grumpy customers once that iPhone on Verizon comes out. Let's look for grumpy customers because of price when it comes out on LTE, because we know these Apple users are very data hungry. And John, your first prediction really is about the shake-up, and we're going to see a sort of a difference. Microsoft is really ascending a little bit to take its rightful place as one of the bigger players in this mobile social arena right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more neck-and-neck competition here, which is going to be good overall for the consumer and challenging for publishers.
Right.
They're going to have to open themselves up to all platforms more equitably.
Right. The last prediction I know you wanted to talk about a little bit was sensors. So why don't you give us your thoughts there?
One of the big things coming out of CES that I talk about on the blog is the preponderance of sensors that are built into the mobile phones, the tablets, and even into our bodies with medical devices galore. And it's creating trillions of new inputs for information about our lives that respond to how we live and how we sense things.
Right.
And it's creating a whole new rich of environment that's feeding into the web. It's what I'm terming in my new book the second web. So this rich environment of sensors being able to feed into applications and information services is really going to be a highlight of 2011, especially as some of these new payment systems based on RFID technology known as near-field communications begin to come online. Easier payments, easier extraction of information from objects, be it through something like an RFID tag or just holding up our camera and being able to understand what was in an ad with information online. Those sorts of sensor-driven applications in the right contexts on mobile devices are really going to start wowing people.
Excellent. We've got about 2 minutes to go. Why don't you talk just a little bit about near field, what it might mean, and give us an example of maybe a retailer or a brand who might be able to show us leverage near field first. Like
Sure
Starbucks, would that be a good example? Or?
Well, just about anything in consumer packaged goods, I think, is going to be able to benefit from near-field communications. Near-field communications is a little tag that you might have seen in a CD store or something like that. It's a little metallic device. Some are big, some are small. But when you hold something up very close to it, within an inch or two, or touching it, that has some sort of electric power going through it, all of a sudden, that passive device can transmit information. So you can hold your smartphone that has near-field communications built into it right up to a package, tap it on the package, and learn about what's in that package. You don't have to hold a camera or anything, just slap it and go. And then if you like it, slap it and buy it.
Right. Very, very interesting. So you predict near-field communications in market use, commercial use.
We're going to start to see the beginnings of it, and we're going to start to see banks in the U.S. starting to use it. This has been in use for a while in Japan, which has led in this sort of communication for quite some time.
Excellent. Excellent. So give me two brands in the U.S. that you think are going to use it.
Well, definitely Google, no question about that. And definitely we're going to see brands that are CPG-oriented, supermarket-oriented, I think, beginning to adopt this.
Excellent. Alrighty, so there you have it, our 2011 predictions. You've been listening to 10-Minute Strategy. My name is Peter Propp.
I'm John Blossom. Thanks again for another episode. See you soon.
Take care.